The outrage is growing after MTV News posted a video on its Twitter account slamming, quote, white guys. Take a look.
Hey, fellow white guys.
It's about to be a new year.
And there's a few things we think you could do a little bit better in 2017.
First off, try to recognize that America was never great for anyone who wasn't a white guy.
Can we all just agree that Black Lives Matter isn't the opposite of All Lives Matter? Black lives just matter. There's no need to overcomplicate it.
Also, Blue Lives Matter isn't a thing.
Joining us now with reaction is nationally syndicated Salem radio host Larry Elder and Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark. Sheriff Clark, we're going to start with you. Blue Lives Matter is not a thing. I beg to differ with MTV. Do you, sir?
Well, first of all, what does MTV have against white people? I don't have anything against white people, and specifically, I don't have anything against white males. What I use to determine whether I like somebody or not is not the color of their skin, it's not their religion or things like that. It's if they talk stupid or hateful, then I'll make a determination that I don't like them.
Right.
You know, this white people bashing. The American public, the voter, I should say, this past November spoke up. They've had enough of it. The white male has been bashed continually by the left and by the Democrat Party. Rose up in November, went to the polls. They've had enough of this crap, too. It is time for this country to come together. That identity politics was crushed on November 8th, and it is time. And Donald Trump, he said it. He said it within the last couple of days again. He said, you may not have voted for me, but I'm going to do everything I can to make sure you are a part of the American dream and a part of the success we're going to have.
Right.
That's the Gettysburg type address that I talked about that Donald Trump needs to make upon assuming the presidency on January 20th.
Absolutely. Larry, so I coined this victimization propaganda. MTV is very good at, the left is very good at. They're good at developing this propaganda. And again, the victim, playing the victim card always.
Well, that's right. And, you know, there are two groups you can malign in this country and ridicule without any kind of pushback, and that's black conservatives and white males, as Sheriff Clark just now pointed out. And what's interesting about this is one of the speakers said that just because you have black friends doesn't mean that you're not racist against black people. Let's talk about that. There was a Rasmussen poll a few years ago. They asked blacks, Hispanics, and whites, of the three groups, which one is the most racist? White said blacks were more racist than the other two. Hispanics said blacks were more racist than the other two. Blacks said blacks were more racist than the other two. Regarding anti-Semitism, about 12% of the country is anti-Semitic, but about 36% of blacks are. And regarding Hispanics, there was a Duke study that found 60% of Hispanics felt that there were, quote, few or any blacks, close quote, who weren't lazy. So where's the MTV video with resolutions about blacks and Hispanic racism against other groups? Well, it is ridiculous.
Sheriff Clark, let me, Larry pointed something out. I have to ask you this. It's a fairly provocative comment because people are going to push back on it. Can African Americans, can blacks be considered racist?
Of course they can. I mean, look at Al Sharpton. Look at Obama. You know, look at Eric Holder. I could go on and on and on in identifying those that are black racist. But, you know, here's the thing. You know, this country's been great to me. When that clip was played, it said America's only been good to people who are white. No, America's been great to me. I've been able to reach my full potential. But I've been raised not to view everything through the lens of race. When I look at you, Eric, I don't see a white guy. I see a TV host. That's how I look at things. And I think the more that we get back to that, and the more that Donald Trump, who reached out to the black community, I was ecstatic when he did, and he kept it up. He didn't just stick a toe in the water. Donald Trump was sincere that life in the American ghetto for black people is horrible. Many of those cities are run by liberal Democrats. So it's time for this country to come together. I know it's going to be a tough thing to do. The liberal media is going to continue to undermine this president, this future president, and smear him and all the people associated with him. But it is high time in this country for everybody to push back against this hateful ideology coming from the left.
And Larry, same question to you. Can African Americans, can blacks be considered racist?
Of course they can. Are you kidding me? As he pointed out, you got Al Sharpton, who's made all sorts of statements against white people, against Jews. What about Reverend Jeremiah Wright? My goodness, of course they can be racist. But the point is, racism is no longer a major problem in this country. If you get an education, invest in yourself, don't make bad moral mistakes, you can make it in America. If my father could, who didn't know his biological father, was a janitor growing up in the Jim Crow South, literally was kicked out of his house at the age of 13, became a Marine, means, started a small cafe and built a cafe and retired in comfort. If he can do it, anybody can do it in America.
Sheriff Clark?
We have a chance when Donald Trump is sworn in as the 45th president of the United States to sincerely experience a post-racial presidency. It did not happen under Barack Obama. I believe it will happen under Donald Trump.
Do you, Larry? I mean, a lot of people are saying that the opposite might happen. They're concerned that Donald Trump. But let's go back to what the actual numbers were. The turnout was in the election. African Americans voted for Donald Trump at almost the degree that they voted for Mitt Romney plus John McCain combined, and Hispanics. Donald Trump outperformed almost every estimate among Hispanics.
That's right. It defied all the experts. Despite the alleged racism that he had against blacks and Hispanics, he got a higher percentage of the Hispanic vote than Mitt Romney did, higher percentage of the black vote than Mitt Romney did, higher percentage, way higher than John McCain did, and of the 700 counties that voted for Obama in 2008 and in 2012, he flipped a third of them. So I guess the third of them contracted a case of racism in 2016 that they didn't have in 2012.
All right. Well, Sheriff Clark, I guess you know that comment. What have you got to lose? Really resonated. Quick thought.
Big time, big time. He has a message of inclusion. It resonated with all Americans. Make America Great Again resonated within the black community. Sure, the Democrats, it's going to take some time for these numbers to flip, you know, in terms of this monolithic black voting pattern for Democrats. But I believe Donald Trump has already begun to chip away at it. And if he continues that, it's going to spell doom for the Democrat Party.
All right, gentlemen, you know what I see when I look at you guys? I see a great law enforcement officer and a great radio host. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And Sheriff Clark. Coming up, tonight's question of the day is next.